Hi guys! So one of the things I got while I was on vacation at the beach was the free hotel room coffee. Now, I don't know any of us in our right mind who actually drink this stuff, because usually it's not that great. And not to mention the fact that they had free coffee that was already brewed, and these are coffee packets that go in a standard coffee pot, and I have a K-Cup machine. They don't work. Why did I take them home? Because I like this pattern on the side of the bag. I know it's crazy, but it was free. And there's two sides. So I want to cut that off and save it. And I actually have an idea for the coffee inside the bag. What about brewing a really strong batch of coffee with using both of these? One is decaf, one is regular, but you know, for what I'm going to do, it doesn't matter. And why don't I coffee stain some paper to use in our journal pages? Normally I think we would tea dye. Let's coffee dye. So I'm going to make some dye out of my coffee. I'm going to go boil some water on the stove and throw the packets in and get it really strong and brewed. And I will be back with that mixture and we will dye some paper. I'll be right back. Okay, I've got a saucepan of water in the kitchen boiling away. While it's doing its thing, I am going to cut off this striped section of these bags. So it's really all I want. I'm going to cut off the part where it's like melted together. Yep. Because really all I want is that part. It's really cute. And add it to my stash of ephemera bits. Set it aside for future projects, future art journal pages. And I just want to show you guys that you can find stuff everywhere around you to use to decorate your art journal pages. You don't have to go out and buy fancy stuff. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go check on my saucepan full of coffee and I will be back. Hi guys. Okay, so after I brewed my sauce pot of coffee, I ended up with so much coffee. It actually was even too much to fill up this bowl. So I took most of it and I put it into ice cube trays and I'm freezing it right now in the freezer. I'm going to put all the little cubes in a Ziploc bag, and then when I want to dye more paper or fabric or something, I can just pull a few cubes out, thaw them out, and I'm good to go. In the meantime, I just kept out this much coffee. I put it in a spray bottle that I can wash out and reuse when I'm done, and this is a bowl for my kitchen. Now, normally I would not pull a bowl from my kitchen to use in the art studio, because, you know, then you can't use it for food again. Except in this case, this is coffee. So it's edible, there's nothing in it, I didn't put alcohol in it or anything like that, it's just coffee. So I could put the coffee in here and it's not going to hurt anything. I dyed these papers two different ways. I'm going to show you both ways. So these two pieces here, which are interesting, I did this way. So for all of the pieces, I crinkled them up and then I pulled them apart. This is just plain printer paper. And then I crinkled it up again, pulled it apart, and then I sprayed it with the spray bottle. I actually did it on top of this rag. Which is probably a good idea to do again. Okay. Then I turned it over, did it again, let it dry. Okay, you get an interesting texture, but it's very light and faint. Where the coffee puddles, you get something that's a little more interesting. The rest of it's pretty monotone, but it's pretty in its own right. So let's hang this up. And I'll show you the other way that I did, which was a lot more messy, a little more fun, but it's why you need the bowl. So I'm going to pour some of the coffee out in here. Actually, let's just pour it all out. It works. And the other kind of paper I have is just plain cardstock. This is the kind of cardstock that you buy at the office supply. It's nothing fancy. So I did the same thing. And I did both techniques with regular paper and cardstock. Okay. Then now when you do it this way, the paper gets a lot more wet. So you want to be gentler with it when you pull it apart. It's going to rip because it's going to get, like I said, really wet. I kind of like the rips and tears, but you want to be careful. And then I'm going to hang it up over my table. And the rag is right underneath it because it's kind of drippy. I'll show you. Do a piece of regular paper. I think the regular paper actually held up a little bit better to getting so wet and being pulled apart. The cardstock seemed to have more trouble ripping. And the wetter you get it and the more wrinkles you get the more interesting your paper is going to be when it's dry. And of course you could do this with ink. Sure you could. Or paint. But, you know, the coffee is free. I don't have to go buy anything. It's kind of fun. And no matter what kind of ink or dye that you use, you never quite get the same look as coffee or tea staining something. And if you hear a humming in the background, it's because I'm saving some video right now. I'll do one more. And of course you can pull it apart a little bit and then you can, oh, fleeing coffee everywhere. Pull it apart a little bit and soak it some more. For the most part, the copy paper, the printer paper, holds up better than the cardstock. Okay, so now that we've done that, and I've made a big drippy coffee splattery mess. It's a good thing I like the smell of coffee. So as I showed you, let me make sure this is still wet. Okay. These were the two pieces I sprayed. These are the pieces I crinkled up and put in the bowl. They're much more interesting, I think. And I didn't pay anything for it. I had all the paper already in the other office. The coffee was free. It just cost me for the water. So no worries. And these can be reused again for something else because it was just coffee. I can go wash them out. So that's just an idea and an experiment. Give it a try and see what you think. I'm going to dye a bunch of pages slowly over a period of time because they are really drippy and it takes a lot to get them dry. And then I think I'm going to bind them into an art journal. Shannon Green did something like this with some stained paper quite a while back. I know there's a video on her channel. I know it was her channel. And I really liked that journal and the way it came out. So I'm going to do something similar with these. So anyway, I hope that gave you some ideas. Have a great day. Have a great week. Don't forget to go out and do something nice for yourself because you deserve it, and I'll see you later. Bye.